Alright, what we're starting off the year with are conversion tables, and here's pretty much what we're looking at. Say we have this ratio that we know. We know that 2.26 gallons and 1 liter are the same thing. That means I can set up a ratio right here. 0.26 gallons is the same as 1 liter. That should mean that they are the exact same thing. Well, if we're dividing, that should mean that if they're the exact same thing, anything divided by itself is just 1. That's what we're going to look at right here. This is going to act kind of like a big number 1 for us. And what we're going to say is, if I have, say, 15 liters, what am I going to do to turn that into gallons? Or if I had 15 gallons, turn it into liters. Now, you can figure out, yes, I'm going to multiply in this case, I'm going to divide in this case. But how do I know? It's kind of a guessing game. If you just say, well, I'll multiply, I'll divide, how do I know which for sure? Well, using this big number 1, I can kind of use a ratio to help solve that problem, and I don't have to guess. So here's what's going to happen. Here's our ratio that we know. 1 liter and 0.26 gallons are the same thing. Okay? I'm given liters already. I want to turn this into a fraction. 15 liters, I can divide by 1. It doesn't change anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by this ratio right here. And what I'm going to say is, well, if I were to take this ratio and multiply by it, what's happening here? I would then multiply liters by liters, and I'd have gallons on the bottom. What my goal is I need to try to make it so that gallons appear instead of liters. That does not happen in that case. What I'm going to do is I can take this fraction here and flip it around and make it 0.26 gallons over 1 liter. And the reason I can do that is because it's still, whether it's the same thing divided by itself one way or the other, it's still 1. And what happens with that is that, say I had a problem like this, xy over x. I can cancel out these like terms that are on the top and the bottom. I can do the same with these units, these words. I can cross out liter, and then the only unit I'm left with here is gallons. So I'd be left with just my gallons as my unit. Now, to figure out what the number is, I need to then simply multiply across. Multiply across the top, 15 times 0.26, which is 3.9. And then on the bottom, 1 times 1 is just 1. So really it's 3.9 divided by 1 gallons. My answer is just 3.9 gallons. Now, to go the other way around, 15 gallons, well, my ratio here is already in the right order. I'm still dividing by 1. I'll have 1 liter over 0.26 gallons. And again, this is a good order because my gallons will cancel each other out, and I will be left with, on the top, 15 times 1, which is 15. On the bottom, 1 times 0.26. My unit, the only thing left, is liters. So my answer here would be, when I divide that, 15 divided by 0.26 is 57.7. My unit is liters. Now, we could also do it multiple times here. For this one, let's say we have 2.5 miles and I want to get to inches. Well, let's see. What can I do first? I'm going to multiply first by a conversion. Now, I need to get rid of miles. Well, the only thing that has miles up here is this one right here. I need miles on the bottom. So I'll put 1 mile to 5,280 feet up top. Am I to my right unit, though, yet? No. I have feet. I still need to get to inches. So I'm going to multiply again. 1 foot, using this second ratio, to 12 inches. Now I have the right units. These feet cancel out, these miles canceled out, and I'm left with whatever I have. I'm just going to multiply straight across. 2.5 times 5280 times 12. And on the bottom is 1 times 1 times 1. So I'll divide all that by 1. My answer is 158,400 inches. Now, for the second one, same idea. We're going to start with 5 miles. I want to get to yards. It's still, I can divide by 1 here to make it easy on myself. Okay, I need to change from miles. The only thing I can do is 1 mile to 5,280 feet. And here's where you might mess up if you didn't use these conversion tables. You would probably multiply by 3 feet instead of dividing by. And the reason we need to divide by 3 feet is because feet's up top right now. I need to get rid of it with a feet on the bottom. So foot and foot cancel again. Mile and mile cancel again. My answer here, I'll multiply across the top. 5 times 5,280 times 1. Then divide by whatever 1 times 3 is. So divide by 3, my answer is 8,800 yards. Now, the other thing we can do is we can actually do some rates in the same way. 2 miles in 15 minutes. I can write this as a ratio. 2 miles in 15 minutes is the same as saying per 15 minutes. 2 miles, 15 minutes. Our fraction bar is kind of like saying the word per. 2 miles per 15 minutes. Say I want to know that in miles per hour. So I want to have something that goes miles per hour. Well, I already have the miles part, but this minutes I need to somehow change to hours. So how can I do that? Well, I know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And again, this allows my minutes to cancel out. Now I have a unit of miles per hour. So now all I have to do is just multiply across. 2 times 60 is 120. 15 times 1 is 15. So 120 divided by 15, which when I divide that will give me an answer of 8 miles per hour. Or you can write it as 8 mph, miles per hour. Alright, the last example I want to look at is, let's say I have something leaking at 0.5 milliliters per second. And I want to know how many liters I would lose per week. So I'm going to have to go multiple steps here. Well, let's start, doesn't matter which one I want to change first. Let's say it's change the milliliters first. I need to get rid of milliliters, so that goes on the bottom. And I want to try to change it to liters. How many milliliters are in a liter? There are 1,000 milliliters to 1 liter. So that already takes care of my milliliters problem. Now, what I need to do next is somehow change seconds into weeks. Do I know how many seconds are in a week? No, I don't. But I can kind of go one step at a time. I can get rid of seconds by saying there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So that gets rid of seconds. Not good enough. So let me make it, okay, I know there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now my minutes are good. I can change the 1 hour, or 24 hours I should say, gives me 1 day. So hours are now good. And then, well, there are 7 days in 1 week. So that'll give me, finally, the units that I need. I have liters, the fraction per week. And all I need to do there now, multiply across. 0.5 times 1 times 60 times 60 times 24 times 7. Down the bottom, 1 times 1,000 times a bunch of ones. So we have a number up top, 1,000 on the bottom. My answer is 302.4 liters per week as your answer. So as long as you can set up your bridges, set up your conversions, then you should have no problem in solving problems of this nature.